The Feast of the Precious Blood of Jesus is a celebration steeped in deep faith, rich tradition, and profound theological meaning. It stands as a testament to the belief in the saving power of Christ's sacrifice, and its observance weaves together threads of history, devotion, and cultural diversity across the Christian world. To truly appreciate the significance of this feast, one must journey back to its origins, follow its development through the centuries, and explore the various ways it is honored by believers everywhere. The roots of devotion to the precious blood of Jesus can be traced to the earliest days of Christianity. From the very beginning, the blood shed by Christ on the cross was understood as the ultimate sign of divine love and the price of humanity's redemption. The New Testament frequently refers to the blood of Christ as central to the mystery of salvation. In the Gospel accounts, at the Last Supper, Jesus takes the cup of wine and tells his disciples, "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins." The symbolism was clear. His impending sacrifice would be the means by which the world would be reconciled to God. As the early church grew, so too did the meditation on Christ's passion. The writings of the church fathers often reflect on the blood of Christ as a source of spiritual healing and new life. Over the centuries, this meditation evolved into a distinct devotion, especially as Christians sought to understand the depth of Christ's love and the magnitude of his suffering for humanity's sake. The Feast of the Precious Blood, however, did not become a formal liturgical celebration until much later. Its origins as an official feast can be traced to the turbulent times of the 19th century. In 1849, Pope Pius X found himself in exile due to revolutionary unrest in Italy. During this period of trial and uncertainty, the Pope was moved to establish a new feast in honor of the precious blood of Jesus, seeking divine assistance and protection for the Church and the world. He set the date for the feast as July 1st, and thus began the annual celebration that would come to be observed by Catholics around the globe. The theological foundation of the feast is rooted in the belief that the blood of Christ, shed during his passion and death, is not only a historical event but a living reality that continues to bring grace, forgiveness, and transformation. In the Catholic tradition, this is most powerfully expressed in the Eucharist, where the bread and wine become the body and blood of Christ, making present the sacrifice of Calvary for every generation. The feast serves as a reminder of the price paid for redemption and the invitation extended to every believer to participate in the mystery of salvation. The devotion to the precious blood, however, is not confined to the Catholic Church alone. Other Christian communities, especially those within the Orthodox and Anglican traditions, also reflect on the significance of Christ's blood in their liturgies and theology. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, while there is no specific feast dedicated solely to the precious blood, the theme permeates the liturgical year, particularly during Holy Week and the Divine Liturgy. The hymnography and prayers of the Orthodox tradition frequently extol the power of Christ's blood to cleanse and renew, underscoring the unity of belief across Christian denominations. Belief in the power of the precious blood has inspired countless acts of faith throughout history. For many Christians, the blood of Christ is seen as a shield against evil, a source of strength in times of trial, and a wellspring of mercy. This belief has given rise to a rich tapestry of prayers, litanies, and hymns, each seeking to honor the sacrifice of Jesus and to draw closer to the mystery of his love. Among the most well-known of these prayers is the Litany of the Precious Blood, composed in the late 19th century and approved for public recitation by Pope John XXIII in 1960. This litany invokes the blood of Christ in its many manifestations, outpoured in the Garden of Gethsemane, shed during the scourging, flowing from the wounds at Calvary, as a source of hope and intercession for believers. Through its rhythmic repetition, the litany invites contemplation of the many ways in which Christ's sacrifice touches the lives of the faithful. The significance of the feast is also reflected in its association with the broader themes of reconciliation, peace, and unity. The shedding of Christ's blood is seen as the act that breaks down the walls of division, offering a new covenant that embraces all people. In times of conflict and uncertainty, the feast has often served as a rallying point for prayers for peace and the healing of wounded hearts and societies. Traditions and practices surrounding the Feast of the Precious Blood vary widely across regions and cultures. In Italy, the birthplace of the feast's liturgical observance, churches dedicated to the precious blood often hold special masses, processions, and times of adoration. Relics associated with the blood of Christ, such as those venerated in Mantua and Bruges, attract pilgrims seeking spiritual renewal and healing. In parts of Africa and Latin America, where devotion to the precious blood has taken deep root, the feast is marked by vibrant celebrations that blend local customs with traditional liturgical practices. In Nigeria, for example, the precious blood devotion is particularly popular. Faithful gather for novenas, night vigils, and healing services, praying for protection, deliverance, and the outpouring of divine mercy. Processions featuring banners, songs, and the recitation of the Rosary of the Precious Blood are common, transforming the feast into a community event that strengthens bonds of faith and solidarity. In the Philippines, devotion to the precious blood is closely linked with the experience of suffering and hope. The feast is often observed with special masses and the blessing of families and homes, invoking the blood of Christ as a safeguard against harm. The blending of Catholic tradition with local spirituality gives the feast a uniquely Filipino character, marked by deep emotion and communal participation. Among Eastern Christians, the significance of Christ's blood is most poignantly expressed in the liturgical life of the Church. During Holy Week, the faithful walk with Christ on the road to Calvary, meditating on the wounds and suffering he endured. The reception of Holy Communion, understood as partaking in the very body and blood of Christ, is the culmination of this journey, a moment of profound union with the saving act of Christ. Throughout Europe, especially in countries with a strong Catholic heritage, the Feast of the Precious Blood has also inspired artistic and architectural masterpieces. Stained glass windows, paintings, and sculptures depicting the crucifixion and the outpouring of Christ's blood adorn countless churches and cathedrals. These works of art serve as visual reminders of the sacrifice at the heart of Christian faith and invite contemplation of the mysteries celebrated in the feast. In recent decades, the liturgical calendar of the Catholic Church has undergone revisions, and the Feast of the Precious Blood is no longer observed as a universal feast. Instead, its themes are woven into the liturgy of Corpus Christi and the celebration of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Yet, the devotion endures, sustained by countless individuals and communities who continue to find inspiration and strength in the contemplation of Christ's blood. The enduring power of the Feast of the Precious Blood lies in its ability to speak to the deepest longings of the human heart. In a world marked by suffering, violence, and division, the feast proclaims the message of hope, reconciliation, and the transformative power of love. It invites believers to remember that, through the blood of Christ, every person is offered the possibility of new life and forgiveness. For those who celebrate this feast, whether in grand cathedrals or humble chapels, in public processions or private prayer, the experience is one of profound connection to Christ, to the Church, and to one another. It is a moment to pause, reflect, and give thanks for the gift of redemption, to pray for the needs of the world, and to renew the commitment to live as people transformed by grace. In every culture and tradition, the Feast of the Precious Blood stands as a reminder that the story of salvation is not just a tale from the past, but a living reality that continues to unfold in the hearts and lives of believers everywhere. It is a celebration of faith, hope, and the boundless mercy of God, a feast that transcends boundaries and unites the followers of Christ in gratitude and awe. As the feast continues to be observed in various forms around the world, its message remains ever relevant. In the blood of Christ, the Church finds its unity, its mission, and its hope. Through prayer, devotion, and the sharing of the Eucharist, believers are invited to enter more deeply into the mystery of God's love, a love poured out, drop by drop, for the salvation of the world.